Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm nearly finished the whole of the back end of the Mini. There's just a few finishing touches that I need to do. Basically, when these panels come, they're missing a few things or they're slightly different to the original panels, and in this video I'm going to be taking them back to the original, and I'm just going to cover each bit I'm doing one step at a time. My starting point is going to be here. This, when it comes as a floor, is predominantly for later Minis, single point injections and multi-point injections. This is a carb Mini, so it needs to be slightly different here. So this, for the later Minis, has a grommet that feeds 3 fuel lines through. On Eleanor, there's only 2 holes required, one for the fuel pipe and one for the vapour release pipe. So they normally go 2 holes here and here. So what I'm going to do with here, I'm going to fill it in with metal and I'm going to drill the holes to take it back to original. So now I need to drill the 2 holes. I've still got lots of pictures from the last one. The sensible thing would have been to keep a template from the last one, but I got carried away and never. So it comes along here and it's down here. So you've got 1 hole here and 1 around here. This is 21 millimeters and this is 13 millimeters. Let's get drilling. Next amendment I'm going to be looking at is this hole here next to the battery tray. So this, on my original floor, there would be a captive locking nut welded on here, and on the other side of that is where the battery cable screws down onto. This here is now obsolete, for the Mini at least. They've got a new nut now that goes through from this side, and it's just basically a nut and washer that comes through from that side, and I just don't think it looks right. So I want to go back to how it was. Now I had a few options which I'll just go over with you just now. This, as you will see, is the battery tray that was cut out of Eleanor to start with, and this is the top part here. So on the nuts you can buy, what it's suggesting is you can still buy this part here that hooks on, and on this side all it is the bolt coming through a washer and a nut securing it. Now I prefer this look, this captive nut here, but I first thought, well, I could use this, clean it up, retap it, but you know what, for what it was, I just thought no, it's too far gone for my liking. So then I started doing a bit of research on these, and I found that if I wanted this size, which memory escapes me just now, 5/16, 7/16, then I had to basically order the part from either Europe or America, which wasn't dear. It was going to cost a few dollars or a few pounds, but it was also then going to cost £30 to £40 to ship, which I'm not paying that for this little bit here. I don't know why I couldn't get any imperial sizes here, so I then looked at metric, and that's what I've done. I've managed to get one of these metric, slightly smaller, but obviously the bolt that goes through will just be replaced for a metric bolt, and this is just going to sit here on the new floor, welded in here and here, and it'll just sit. So it's as close to as original as I'm going to get it at this point in time. And this cost me a grand total, I think, of £2 something. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. Get the area prepped, get this drilled, and just get it welded on. Primer's dried, and I've drilled 2 holes to plug weld on the bracket. To get it on to weld it, I'm just going to put the bolt through the other side and attach it in place. Then I know exactly that's where it goes. So I would imagine this will be mixed for people out there. Some people like going to all this extent where you could just use a bolt and a washer, but you know what, it's the little things that make a difference, and it just shows the slight bit of care and attention that you put into your cars. So there we go, just ready to weld in. So it's been ground back and primed, and it's good. I'm really pleased I went for that option. It's personal preference obviously, so yeah. But what I will do once I'm doing some more finishing off is I'll put some seam sealer around, because the side bit, because of the design of it, there's obviously slight gaps and I don't want any water getting through there. So yeah, I'll do that at a later stage once I'm doing other seam areas that I've missed. And that's another mod done. On to the next one. Right, another modification, or lack of, whatever you want to look at it. On the original floor there's a support plate here. Runs from about here up over the curve slightly and down here. I'll show you somewhere up here a photo that was taken from the old floor. And yeah, this is not a plate you can buy, and having asked a few people on a forum, there's various different answers of what people think it's for. Some say it's support, gives it support. Others it's a cushion between the subframe, and then there's obviously some link to the hydro elastic suspension. So regardless, it could be a bit of each. Me 100%, I don't know, but because the bump stop bracket's on the other side of here, the rear seat back is on here. By putting a plate on here, it's going to give it strength for me, and any strength is good. So I have got 2mm thick steel, and I'm going to do, again, I don't know the dimensions, I can only go visually off the pictures because unfortunately when I took the floor apart I didn't measure it. What I've measured out here is 4 inches by 3 inches, and like I say, 2mm. I'm going to cut 2 bits of that, sit it in here, get it slightly bent where it needs to be. Now the old one, it was stitch welded a few places, and that's what I'm going to do. I did think about punching holes and plug welding, but I just didn't want to get more areas that could possibly be exposed to anything getting in, so I'm going to treat the area underneath, treat this, and I'm going to stitch weld every sort of maybe 5 or 6 all the way around, so that it gets the strength in it, and then obviously the rest will be seamed, so there'll not be any water getting in, but that's the way I've decided to go with it. So I've cut the plates, taken all the sharp edges off them, sit about there. If you can see from there, the profile of the boot goes at an angle and then straight, so I need to put a line in here and just bend this slightly so it goes with the curve of the boot. And obviously I need to mark which is the right and which is the left, and then I can mark them in here and get the areas prepped. Right, that took a little bit of time shaping these because, like I say, they're not straight, but they're a good fit now. Really pleased with how well I got it. Basically the left one sits here, you can see it fits the contours well, and the right one's the exact same. So yep, going to get it on, marked round, bit of prep, and then I'll leave the paint to dry for a bit before I come back and get them welded on. Area prepped and below. It's the next again day. I've just let the paint dry, and I've also done the underside of these. Obviously they again go on here. I'll put some stitch welds on here, here and here. Seam seal, paint, and that's it done. Can move on to the next one. So yeah, I'll get these on just now. So let that dry, like I say, put some seam sealer on. I'll go and do the same to the other side off camera, and I'll give you a quick glimpse once they're both done. Plates are on, primed and sealed. These will be tidied up later on in terms of the sealant, and also there's Gravitex to go over the floor, so I'm not as fussed about how it looks. I'm more interested in the fact it's sealed and watertight. So that's another one off the list. I can now move on to the next job. There's always a next job. Moving on to the main floor, because this was for the later injection minis, the brackets to hold the fuel pipe are slightly different. So you can see these tabs here, which I have here. They're only on the driver's side. So the floor I've got, which I'll show you in a little clip that's still there from being cut out, needs them on this side as well. So I'm missing 4. So I've ordered 4 of these, and basically I'll show you these basically get welded on down this flute here. One here, one here, one here, and one here. And then it keeps it in keeping with the old floor. Now these come with a hole drilled, but it's not the best. It's slightly off, as I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to drill 2 other holes here and here, and I'm just going to plug weld them to the floor. Right, I've moved that closer. You can see there's indents there. Now there's 4 of them. There's one here, and some further along here. Now this prong faces the inside, and you can see there's an indent here, so it quite comfortably sits on here. Now this hole, as I said, should ideally be maybe 5mm back this way, so you can weld onto this part here and not go down the ramp, but I'll work around that, that's fine. When I drill the other 2, I'll obviously put them a bit further down this way. But before I do that, I'm going to need to just drill these holes and mark up where they're going to be plugged and take off as little paint as I can, and the usual weld through primer before weld them on. So the area's been prepped. I've got holes in here. This has been prepped. I just need to plug weld it in place now, and I'm just going to use one of these handy little magnets to hold it when I want it. Out there. Let's get plug welding. So I'll get the rest welded in, get them ground and tidied up, and then primed, and I'll come back to you when it's looking similar to that side. Last item on my floor modifications before I'm happy with the floor and finished with the floor. Drain holes, all on the boot and all on the floor. Now these are controversial. I've seen on forums and Facebook groups mixed opinions. A lot of people are like, no, keep them, they're there so that water can drain out when it leaks in, because minis will leak. Others say they're there because when they were painted in the factory it was to allow the paint to drip out. Then you get other people that say nope, they're rust traps, they let water in, they do more harm than good. Yep, I do listen to all those opinions, but the worst areas on Eleanor before I started the restoration came from these. The one at the front, the one at the back. Everywhere there was a drain hole, there was rust and it spread. So the plan with this car, with Eleanor, she's not going to get much driving in the rain, to be honest, and she's always going to be kept in the garage. By no means a trailer car, because that's not what I believe in. But there's going to be sound deadening covering this, and I don't want the holes. I don't want there being any possibility of rust getting in. So my decision is to do away with them all, basically, leaving a few, one for the battery cable, and obviously the ones for the fuel pipes, but every other hole on the floor in the boot is getting filled in. I'm not going to do the jacking points, just the holes. So that's my next mission. Using an old bit of heritage floor and one of these, I can get these circle discs drilled, and it saves a lot of hassle having to shape something with a grinder. So yeah, well worth the investment. And this will be hot, as I found out. So yeah, make up a few of these and it makes it a lot easier. And anything that makes it easier is a good thing. Right, starting with the boot floor. A magnet to hold this in place till I can get it tacked in. And that is a perfect fit. And after it's cleaned up, it's as good as I want it to get, like this, because it's getting a layer of Gravitex put on it and then paint. So yep, really happy with this. I just now need to go and do all the rest of the holes off camera. So I'll give you a quick view once it's all been done, but apart from that I'll say thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!